Hello. In this clip from our Justia webinar, Thriving at the Crossroads of Law and Business in the AI Era, Tom Shack will answer questions that will help you better understand ethics as a part of your legal career. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Tom. Now we can go ahead and move on to audience questions. But if you have any questions for Tom and you'd like to submit them, just click that Q&A button at the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and submit them. Looks like we've already got a couple. All right. Okay, the first one is, considering that ethical rules are reactive and AI is advancing so rapidly, could there be an instance where a new ethical rule related to AI is already irrelevant by the time it's published or accepted?
Oh, that's such a great question, and it really is. And the truth of the matter is yes. I mean, that not only is it possible, but it's likely, right? Because the technology is moving much faster. I mean, think of how, like for instance, the ABA rules, the model rules. They're just that. They're model rules. We think you should live by this, code if you're a member of a state bar, right? And so those model rules, they don't change. They don't change often, and they certainly, there are certainly aspects of modernization that they don't take into account. One example would be, for instance, the having non-lawyers participate in the business of practicing law. Right, that's impermissible here in the United States, and it is permissible in other countries like Great Britain, or groups of countries like Great Britain. And so that's a really big issue. That lawyers have been asking for years to be able to do this, and a lot of large law firms, and many of you that are with large law firms would understand this. That the large law firm is going to is in this era, the senior leadership is going to be considering, what happens when that rule changes. And, are we going to go public? Are we going to, there are all kinds of different things that, that can happen as a result of that. But that happened in Britain, 10, 12 years ago, and it still has not happened here. So no, the APA is not particularly reactive, and it doesn't impulsively change any rules.
Awesome. Thank you for that insight, Tom. Our next question is, are there any legal strategies that might be ethically questionable in a business context, even if they are technically within the bounds of law?
It's an interesting question, right? This is a situation where, you could have a legal strategy. And again, if we want to use one of our examples, it might be perfectly legal in certain cases to involuntarily take my organs, right? Not to the point where I die, but they need a kidney, they need a half a liver, so they say I'm healthy, they strap me down to the table and they take the organ and go. Well, you really have to think about. I hope this really answered your question, but you have to think about, even if it's illegal, even if something is illegal, you're still in a position where, or legal, you're still in a position where it may not be ethical. Now, it certainly is not going to be ethical for the doctor, right? We know that because first do no harm is their basic premise, and that would be harming to me if it's involuntary. But you can certainly see areas in which that can happen, and it's it really is it's a challenge.
Thank you. And I think the last question we have time for today is going to be, in cases involving international business and legal matters, what ethical considerations arise when you navigate different legal and cultural frameworks?
Another great question. This is something that we spend a lot of time on in most of my my business courses. Because we're so global and our economy is so global now, that we're now in a position where where we have to interact. But think for a minute, like back to an example. I'll use a very, very quick example. A law student working, in my class, gets a job with a Taiwanese law firm for the summer as a summer associate. Now, do the ethical rules, or let's say that they're a member of the bar, member of the Massachusetts Bar, a brand new member. They go to work in an overseas place, and in that overseas place, they determine that wow, there's really not much stricture for a lawyer here, right? I can do a lot of things here that I can't do back in Massachusetts, or there's a lot of stuff that I can't do here that I can't do back in Massachusetts. Well, there are not a lot of specific cases on this, but you had better be very, very wise to this. If your bar finds out that that you did something that was, out of the country, out of the jurisdiction, and it still was, from an ethical standpoint, dishonest, and they can punish you just as easily as if you did it, in Massachusetts or your home state. So, absolutely, you gotta, you have to make sure that you follow the letter of the law of the other country, but make sure that you always have that your ABA ethics concepts on your back. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all of your insight and your presentation, Tom. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos. See you in our next clip.